Hello there. I've seen a lot of traders complaining that CRT does not work. And the thing is, it is not their fault. You won't blame them because they don't understand the concept deeply, you understand. They know that, okay, candle range theory, they understand the concept that when a candle close in a three set of candle, right? When the second candle close within the range of this first candle right here, right? That the third candle will likely push towards the downside. You understand? In this case, we are talking about a downward movement, and if it is happening the other way around, it is going to push up. You understand? So they understand it right that this is how this concept is supposed to be traded on the chart. You understand? But once they get to the chart, they will get confused. Sometimes they will mark up a CRT and it will fail because the reason why it fails is because they are not in agreement with the overall trend. You cannot take structure out of the market, right? If you want to make your trading to work, you have to put structure to be the fundamental part of your trading, you understand? And without structure, any concept will not work, you understand? That's why you want to make sure that you're in agreement with the structure. You understand? So if the structure is telling you, obviously if the order flow is telling you that look, this order flow is pushing towards the downside, like you are seeing the order flow forming lower low, you understand, lower high, lower low, lower high. You understand? There is no point of you trying to find a CRT that will likely push the price towards the upside because 80% of the chance the market will stop you out. You understand? But if you want to be in agreement with the market, you understand, you have to check the order flow. And in this case, the order flow is pushing towards the downside because at any given moment it's breaking structure towards the downside, right? And in that case, you have to find your CRT in this type of setting to be in agreement with this type of order flow. And in this case, you can clearly see that our CRT that would likely be in agreement with the downward movement is this guy right here. Look at this first candle here. You understand? This candle is the range for us, you understand? Because at the end of the day, the second candle sweep the high, close within the range, you understand? And look what happened. The third candle start pushing towards the downside aggressively, you understand, with full momentum, you understand? So that is how you should trade CRT. You don't just go to your chart and mark any random place as your CRT. It doesn't work that way. You will likely get yourself pumped, you understand? So you want to make sure that your CRT is in agreement with the order flow. Mark this word, order flow, you understand? So this is the thing that you must make sure you have it figured out before you start drawing your CRT. If you don't want to take my word for it, let me go to my chart right here on Euro USD. Let me show you that this thing do work. You understand? So if you go to Euro USD right here, what can you see? You understand? Look at the order flow moving towards the downside. You understand? Look at the order flow here moving towards the downside. Let me show you a beautiful setup for CRT here. You understand? So if we were to go by this candle right here, you understand, this particular candle, this is the high and this is the low. You understand? This particular candle right here. Let me show you. This is it. This guy, this particular guy, this spinning top or dodgy candle, you understand? What can you see? You discover that the second candle swept the high, you understand, and closes within the range. You understand? So what happened? The next candle that comes up start pushing towards the downside. You understand? All these candles start pushing towards the downside because it is in agreement with the trend. You understand? It is in agreement with the overall trend. So that is the whole concept. You don't just go to your chart and mark any random place as your CRT. Although it may give you a temporary win, but at the end it will still come against you and go to your SL and hit your stop loss. So if you don't want this thing to repeat, you want to make sure that you are in complete agreement with the market. I can go to other pair and show you that this thing do work. You understand? Let's go to Euro card for instance. If you go to Euro card, you maybe this is 4 hour for instance. You understand? What can you see? This particular place, or although it is not the ideal model of CRT, but you can clearly see that the second candle close within the range of the first candle. Look at this first candle. This blue candle here, this particular blue candle will be the range, and this second candle, which is the inverted hammer, will be the second candle. And boom, what do you see? The market start pushing towards the downside. Of course, the market should push towards the upside because it is respecting this demand zone. And again, you have to keep in consideration, where are you seeing this type of CRT? Is it in the continuation trend, or is it in the demand or supply level? All these thing, all these little thing, you have to factor it in. You understand? If you want to have a good edge in the market, right? So let's check other place. Let's take other example. You can see another beautiful example right here. Although it is not the ID model, but it still shows us one of the concepts that should be met before we consider a CRT setup. And this is it. If you are going by this candle right here, look at this. It's a beautiful example. Let me show you. Let me show you. This is Euro card. You understand? Let me show you. So look at it here. Look at it. This is the first candle. Yeah, this is the range of the first candle. So this candle now becomes our range, and the second candle sweep the high, close within it, and boom, what you see? The market start pushing towards the downside because the overall trend is downtrend. The order flow is pushing towards the downside. And of course, you will expect the market or the CRT to respect it. And the CRT will likely move towards your TP without hesitating, right? So these are the thing, these are the little thing you need to consider in the market. I can go on and show you. In this case, you can see clearly this is a buy setup, a buy formation. This is the C1. You understand? This is the C2, C1, C2, C3. You understand? If you are using this candle as a range, you discover that the second candle sweep the low and close within the range of this first candle here. You understand? And look at what happened. The third candle start pushing towards the downside because, of course, we have established that the market is having a change of character, and of course, the market will respect it. You understand? And push towards the downside. You understand? Look at another beautiful example right here. If you are using this candle as the range, you discover that it closed exactly close to it, you understand? And the third candle obviously start pushing towards the downside. I can go on and show you different example why you should always make sure your CRT is in agreement with the overall price momentum or overall trend, you understand? You don't want to just jump into the market and mark any random place and use it as your CRT. Make sure that the CRT is in agreement with the order flow. Once you have this thing figured out, you will no longer draw a failed or a CRT that will likely fail. You understand? Henceforth, once you have this kind of concept, your CRT will likely play out 10 times, 9 times out of 10. You understand? So you have a high winning rate. You understand? And this is what we are looking for as a trader. We all want a high winning rate, and this is what you want to do. Make sure you are using other conferences. Don't just accept a concept without another conference. You understand? If it is CRT, make sure that the CRT you are trying to trade the CRT in agreement with the trend, or you are trying to trade the CRT in a supply zone or in a demand zone. You will come out very clean in the market. You understand? So that is how to trade this concept. Look at another example. Although it's not the ideal form of a CRT, but mind you, you will never see the ID thing on the chart. You understand? You have to use your own use your own initiative. You understand? Use your own skill or your intuitive capability. So you understand? So look at this another example here. If you look at this example here, you discover that this last candle here is the range, you understand? And look at what happened. This particular guy inside bar close within the range. And look, the third candle start pushing towards the upside aggressively and give rise to all this bullish momentum towards the upside. And you will take it because the market, number one, the market tap into this rejection block right here. You understand? Look at this rejection block. And again, if you check the overall, if you check out the overall market direction, you discover that the overall order flow is pushing towards the upside, you understand. So this thing works in the market, you understand. So you want to make sure you are doing it like this. Henceforth, I don't want you to come and tell me that your CRT is not working. I hope you have learned something today. If you have learned something today, I want you to come back in my next video and tell me that, look, David, what you told me actually worked. I went to my chart and back tested it and it works. This is the type of feedback I want you to give me. You understand? I want you to stay glued to this community and learn from us. Thank you. Peace out for now.